Warning. The system has become unstable.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. Hey, we're gonna do. So I did that drummer history not very long ago, and did snippets of several different songs from several different bands that I have been in as a drummer. And so there was a clip. I believe it's the first third of a song called Miss Andrea Applegate or Andrea Applegate, Miss Applegate, whatever. Um, that's the band Mystic Cereal. The band Mystic Cereal, not my song later with Jesus Borg and the Collective. The song Mystic Cereal, and that video is on here as well. I think a couple of different versions now. Well, not different versions, different shows, different performances. And so I'm going to go ahead and say this, and this is not cool. So rest in peace to Chris, the singer of this band. He's been dead for several years, actually. Um, we had a couple of songs that he really, I think, pulled it off okay vocally. I'm not a great singer myself, so I'm not trying to throw stones in glass houses. But I tried to write songs within my vocal range. Now, I have exceeded that at times, but I do make that effort as a songwriter. So Chris did not have the best voice in the world. Now, I think this song is he does fine, and just everything about the song, I really enjoyed this song. The sad truth is this band had a full playlist. I don't know, we had 14, 16, 18, 20 songs. I don't remember how many original tunes. Plus we did Black Sabbath and Nirvana and Leonard Skinner and Man in the Box by Alice in Chains, and did stuff like that. But original material, we had quite a good, decent set list, and that music is really, really, really good, actually. In fact, I would say back then I was the weak link in the band. The songs were co-written between James, the guitarist, and my brother JC, and some of that stuff is just absolutely beautiful. And then sadly, Chris' vocals do not do the tunes justice, in my opinion, and it's a bummer. I have a ton, well, not a ton, but I do have a fair amount of video footage of us from playing different gigs, rehearsing, and I also have recordings, audio recordings. Is all analog. All of this is analog, just like with I2G, just like with Jesus of Borg and the Collective, JOB for short. This is all analog. This is not digital stuff. And so when I was staying up late last night going through stuff to find music I could put on here as a showcase of my experience as a drummer, my history as a drummer, and it's small. I was in many, many other bands going back to when I was a kid, sometimes with my brother, sometimes without. I mean, as a kid, and also, I've lived in other states and actually two countries. I even played some music in Germany, believe it or not. It's not a lot known about that, but I did do a little bit of that, and so my brother and I didn't always play in bands together, and he's been in other bands without me. Anyway, we had audio that we did just music, as you do when you record, and then you layer your guitar and you layer your vocals, and or you add your vocals and you layer and any kind of harmonies or looping and all that kind of thing, all your sound effects and your samples and any of that stuff that's going in, which some of my music has done. This band didn't do that kind of thing. And then we have a song called In Through the Night. I think it's In Through the Night, not Into the Night. I think it's In Through the Night, and we would do it live, and I have a bunch of recordings of it, audio and video, of us doing it live as a full. I mean, it's like a southern rock song, but electric guitar, electric bass, and we did we wrote it and rehearsed it multiple times, but then we have one recording of it as a back then, like an MTV Unplugged. And so James, the guitarist, is playing a beautiful the tonality is just beautiful, 12-string guitar, and my brother JC is playing an acoustic bass, so an acoustic 12-string guitar and an acoustic bass, and of course I'm playing acoustic drums, even though in my other music room, this is my den library video production room, and I have another room where I have all 4 guitars and 2 drum sets, one acoustic, one electric, my monitors and all that good stuff. Anywho, other mics and things, just stuff for music. But we we did a unplugged version of it that is just amazing, amazing, and the guitar solo and just James wrote like Joe Walsh from the James Gang and Joe Walsh Solo and the Eagles, of course, where his leads, he played rhythm leads. You know, that's what Joe Walsh was known for back in those early mid late 70s was, rhythm that was a lead. And so, and lots of people have done that. I mean, Randy Rhoads is probably the god of that kind of thing, right? But anyway, okay, so I'm going on too long. But James wrote like that, and it was his I just love his stuff. I really do. And the guitar solo in Through the Night on the 12-string acoustic guitar is just something to behold. It's so beautiful. But I know we had a recording, a full, you know, package. We had a full package that was all music alone, instrumental, all instrumental, no vocals. And so, rest in peace, Chris. I mean, I got along great with him. But this song, I'm cool with uploading, and sharing with the world. And some of those other songs, I just don't want to, and it's a shame because there is some really great instrumentation in that, and my brother's bass. There's stuff that shines that would blow your away. You hear it and you go, "What is that?" It's like an electric guitar, like a lead guitarist playing through a pedal board or something. Like it's like no, that is my brother playing a 4-string bass guitar at that time, not a 5-string, not a 6-string. Okay, no foot pedals, no pedal board. Now my brother's used effects and pedal boards and stuff like that. He has, but I do have maybe in my archives, but I certainly did have, and I hope I still have. I have stuff of us that we've recorded that it's like I would say it's kind of like Jimi Hendrix and Ted Nugent in guitar, but it's a bass guitar, and maybe not so much Cliff Burton, although I like to say that. But Jimi Hendrix and like Ted Nugent, and bass guitar. It's just unfriggin' believable, phenomenal. So my brother's doing stuff like that, and then James is just making that guitar weep, just making it weep. And then again in that recording that's acoustic, it's over the moon. All right, I want to play this. I'm just talking and talking and talking, but I'm making excuses for the fact that we have a whole set list, and I don't really want to upload any of it if it's stuff with Chris's vocals. I mean, I feel terrible saying that because he was a great guy and he's passed on, but it's the truth. So maybe one of these days I'll go through my boxes of stuff and maybe I'll find that package of all just instrumentation that we did, and then I would share that. I would share that because the music deserves to be shared and celebrated. I mean, I loved the music. So, okay, this is Miss Andrea Applegate, and Chris does a fine job here. So, so rest in peace, Chris, rest in power and all that happy horse stuff. Miss Andrea Applegate by Mystic Cereal.
Andrea Applegate.
All right, Miss Andrea Applegate by Mystic Cereal, the band, not the song. And hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun to play. Maybe I'll get to share some other stuff. There's at another time. Also, going through stuff last night, just to put this out there, I did not have a single digital video copy anywhere of anything of House of Voodoo. Now, I played a couple clips in that recent video I did, my history as a drummer. So you see me in the studio, Tin Pan Alley recording studio off of 28th Street in New York City. And then you see us playing CBGB's. The legendary CBGB's now closed on Houston Street. And so, I mean, I have stuff, and I do have digital clips, just a bunch of clips that I obviously used for montage purposes, but I don't have a single song, not a single song. So again, I have audio, I have CDs that were studio engineered. I have lots and lots of audio tapes and lots of videotape, but I'll get to them maybe someday, sometime. That music's really, really good too. And Jacques Lassine, also known as Ace Gunner, the singer-songwriter of that band, the spearhead of that band, fantastic guy. And then Andy was the bassist, amazing bassist. Can't remember, it'd be on the videos, but he played a 5 or 6 string bass, and he was a phenomenal bassist that still took paid lessons like 2-3 times a week, on top of us rehearsing a couple of times a week and playing gigs. I mean, the guy was just like devoted to the bass and just unbelievable. But the singer-songwriter, Jacques Lassine, Ace Gunner, phenomenal leads. He's another mediocre vocalist like myself, so I don't say that to knock him. I'm just saying, I wish we'd had because we were a power trio, wish we'd had a power vocalist. His rhythms, some of his rhythms I liked, but his leads, his arrangements, just his song structures, solid, all solid song structure and leads that are just. One thing I can say is I have played with some phenomenal lead guitarists, from James and Mystic Cereal to Jacques and House of Voodoo and Ray and I2G. And, I say this with the most utmost respect for Chewy and Jesus Aborg, J.O.B. I wasn't a fan of a lot of his rhythms. And some of it's good. And I mean, they were based on my melodies. I mean, it's like I wrote the songs. But there's collaboration there. I wasn't always a big fan of his rhythms. But if you listen to the nuance of the J.O.B. stuff on the leads, Chewy was a very talented lead guitarist, very underrated in my opinion in that regard, perhaps even by me, unfortunately. And before I quit my own band and left the state and moved back to New York, literally we had one rehearsal with a new guitarist. So we had a guitarist because I wanted that new metal sound. I wanted that Korn sound, and it's not new metal, but White Zombie. I wanted that White Zombie, 9 Inch Nails, and then going into the new stuff, like not Drain STH, Static X, Cold Chamber. I wanted someone to have that drop tune, bottom in, just balls to the wall style that I personally love. People can bust balls on new metal all they want. I mean, I know it doesn't have the virtuosity of like the Randy Rhoads and that kind of thing, and the Michael Schenkers. Okay, I get it, but the rhythms are just violent mosh pit war. I mean, you play that going into war, like the scene with the helicopters in Apocalypse Now where they're playing Wagner's Flight of the Valkyries. I mean, play Static X and Cold Chamber and send me into battle, man. I'm coming out victorious for Odin. You know what I'm saying? So we had one rehearsal before personal things. I quit my own band and I left the state. But that guy had that sound for the bottom end, and it was like I made it clear, like, all right, we're gonna restructure these songs to get them a little closer to my vision, and Chewy's gonna do the leads because on top of that aggressive masculine bottom end that I want haunting and just haunting leads. And I mean, if you listen to, you'll hear peppered all throughout some of the J.O.B. stuff. He did it, he really did it. So my hat's off to you, Chewy. You're underrated even by me. All right. So you're going to have to, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath on Mystic Cereal stuff or on House of Voodoo stuff, or any of the other bands I was in. I might even have some other stuff. I don't even know. But don't hold your breath. I'll get to it maybe sometime. People of the internet, hope you enjoyed Miss Andrea Applegate by Mystic Cereal, the band, not the song. All right. People of the internet, go do devil stuff. Have a great day.
Warning. The system has become unstable.